Good morning, Matt.
Hey, Rick. What's up, buddy?
Oh, just, you know how it is. Plenty to talk about. Lots going on. And all of it, I don't want to talk about.
True, Dan. I mean, as you could probably, everybody else has been stuck in the house a lot lately. I'm actually just really excited to be here.
I'm so happy to be sitting next to someone other than someone in my family. Love you guys. But man, whew. Yeah, man, it's crazy that we had a lot of interesting topics to discuss around what we would call this podcast. I think one was going to be F coronavirus, and then just talk about all things not coronavirus. That would have been fun, right?
We'll see. I mean, if anybody listens and requests it, maybe we do it.
I would love
just
that.
The F it podcast.
Yeah, just let it rip. Yep. Just whatever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea, actually.
Should we do it now?
No. That's probably a better evening podcast when we can
there you go.
Do a little whiskey one, something like that. All right, so today we're going to talk about, you guys, honestly, actionable steps. So 3 things that you can do right now, because we were laughing a minute ago about all the things we can't do, right? Like just things that we're being protected from, if you will, like the park entrances nearby are closed, so you can't walk through the park or the woods, or it's crazy. And I know a good deal of it's necessary. I don't certainly want to go down that road today, but it's interesting, especially, being an entrepreneur and kind of doing what you want to a certain degree. It kind of gives you this maverick mindset over time. And then all of a sudden it's like, you can't go to the park. I'm like, what do you mean I can't go to the park? Yeah. I'll park down the street and walk to the park. You get weird.
Try doing that with kids, man.
Oh, I can't imagine. So you're 3 little ones at home,
locked up.
So
can't
just for those of you guys that that are listening right now, Matt has a wife with a lot of energy who's awesome. He has 3 little girls who are amazing, and his wife adopts pets. They have like 7 randomly health challenged pugs or something like that.
Like I said, I'm very happy to be here today.
All right, well, let's get on with the stuff you can do, because there are some things you can do to help assuage your pain in this time of Corona. So
let me, I'll list them off and we'll talk about them, and you can
give me
your
thoughts.
Do it.
So we'll go back and forth.
This is kind of 3 things that you can do right now in this moment where we're stuck in our homes or can't work on your business. So first one that we came up with was work on yourself.
Yeah, and we'll do this through the lens of business and personal, right? So I know for me, when this first kicked off as an entrepreneur, I had like a real strange energy, if you will. Almost there was a big problem to solve, and it was complex. And most entrepreneurs relish the opportunity to solve big problems, right? I mean, you started a business because that business should anyway solve a problem for someone. That's why they're buying it, right? Mm-hmm. So that is essentially, in its essence, what an entrepreneur is. They're a problem solver, right? And they do it with their business, but in this case, it was legitimately solving a problem. And it was fun, and it was, everybody was chaotic, and I felt like, well, this is your chance to shine. It's leadership, and there's all these things around it. And then you get to where we are now, where we're probably looking at another 30 days of this, and I've sort of lost a little bit of that early gusto, if you will. And what's happened is I noticed that while I started off hot, I've sort of powered down, and it's a scary spot to be in, because powering down can mean, at least in my case, realizing that I've been wearing the same sweatpants for 3 days, right? And my wife is asking me if I brush my teeth, and it's 3 p.m. So if you're not careful, you can go down these dark rabbit holes of working on business, and pretty soon you're Ted Kaczynski. So you've got to be really careful. So I would say first and foremost, try to plan your day as if you have things going on, even if you don't.
A little daily routine.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard him say, I think it's the Navy SEAL guy that everybody talks about, Jocko, is that his name? And he said like routine is freedom, right? And so in a lot of ways, if you think about it as an entrepreneur, you just kind of like, you want to get up and solve these problems. And when they're there, it's great. But when they're not, if you don't have a set routine, you're going to be unable to function. And by doing that routine, it is going to give you more freedom, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to make you feel better and like you're more on top of things, and give you freedom to think, more margin in your life overall. And so I think that's where you start, right? Is just get up and get rolling as if you had a normal daily schedule. That would be a great way to start.
It's got to be tough. You don't have, like, I have little kids, and, we're homeschooling them. So, I mean, it's literally like every day we got to get up, we're on to school. So I can't imagine for you, a couch potato.
Yeah, I have nothing going on. My daughter's home from college. She's in nursing school. She sleeps till 11, and then she just watches an office marathon of The Office while doing homework, So yeah, it's challenging, but I'm really enjoying, the personal challenge. So I would say step up to the plate, take on your own personal challenges. And one thing that it allowed me to do was what it's allowed me to do is sort of grieve my business a little bit, if that makes sense, right? Like I miss what I actually complained about, if that makes sense, right? So I'd get up every day. I'm like, God, I'm so busy. I have 15 things to do. I got all these calls. And these weren't like unproductive, busy work things. It's just shit that needs to get done. We're building a franchise, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a million and one things to do. And we run a pretty efficient team. So, we're wearing lots of hats. And I actually enjoy that. But day over day over day over day, it could just sort of wear you down. And so if you're not careful, you can find that your daily work, a day in the life of, becomes less enjoyable perceptually than it should be. And what are we doing anyway? At the end of the day, we can figure out ways to make money, but you have to enjoy, for me at least, I need to enjoy what I'm doing every day. And so, you run the risk of at times if your days, if I started out as a fitness guy on the floor and like touching clients and seeing the results of it, and then we leveled up. And then now, in the franchise world, my days are mostly spent, at least at this stage, it's like legal, compliance, accounting. It's like stuff that's not that exciting. I could be running any kind of business. So this has been a great opportunity for me to sort of mourn the things about our business that I forgot that I really loved, which is the people, right? Like sitting here with you. Like you said, I couldn't wait to get here today. It's like, oh my gosh, I get to have a normal conversation outside of, the same people I'm talking to who don't want to hear me talk anymore. That's been awesome. And it's also a chance to do what you and I talked about earlier, Matt, which is go back to our whys. Yeah. So for me, it kind of, in the day-to-day fray of the business, you can get away from why you got into the business to start with. This is a chance to be very reflective and say like, okay, why do we hustle all day, every day? And why did I get in this industry in the first place? And what am I even doing? Who am I? I mean, ridiculous things, but now's your chance. You've got a little bit of margin, right? To sit down and just think. So take some dead time and try to remember your whys. And for me, it was, helping people is the thing that gives me the most excitement. Or you could say, as we have in other podcasts, like bringing people happiness. Mm-hmm. We talked about Tony Hsieh, author of Delivering Happiness, and he was the CEO of Zappos, and basically said, look, I don't even like shoes, but shoes make people happy. Like getting a new pair of shoes is a great experience that can make people happy. And I'm in the business of delivering happiness, hence the title of the book. And so that's what we do, right? And so it's like, oh, cool. Well, that's why we do what we do. And then I take a look at our brand promise. Like, does that speak to that? And the answer is yes. So, luckily it's like a lot of positive things have come out of this. My overall lens on our business is like, wow, stronger together. Like we've trademarked that, by the way. Trademark. Don't use it. Don't do it. We'll come get you. Matt will come get you. Yeah. But stronger together has so much more meaning now, right? I mean, we're actually not together, but it's like, man, if we work together and we all try to help each other, whether it be as an industry or us to our clients or clients to clients or community to community, whatever that is, government to community, whatever these things are, that we're going to be better off. And so there's that. And then we go back to our core values, right? Are our core values in line with where I think our business is supposed to be and what our business is supposed to do? Went through those again, and the answer is yes, right? And again, guys, if you don't have these, now's the time, right? This is the chance to sit down and be reflective. And why did you get in the business? Are you doing the things that you like to do, right? And if not, now's your chance to change it. And so that's a lot of what working on yourself is. We've talked about some of the more tactile things, like do 5 things today that move you in the right direction. Spend every morning, journal, read, take some notes, on whatever you're reading. Those kind of tactical things that we've talked about in other podcasts are also really important. Again, that's the schedule that gives you the freedom, right? But I would say also right now, if there's anything that's been burning in you or something that you've always wanted to do, now's a chance to do it. So I've talked about Harvard courses online, or maybe certain books that you want to read that are a bit dry, but now you have the time. You can, even if it takes you twice as long to read a page, or you have to reread it because it's very data driven or whatever, now's your chance to do it, right? And so set up some scheduled time throughout the day and get to work on it. And then also work on the philosophical stuff like we talked about. Like, why am I in this business? What are we here to do for people? is my brand in line with that? I think a good exercise that we went through was, I think it was from Donald Miller, which is he owns a marketing agency. Sometimes he's featured on Andy Stanley's podcast, and he's got his own podcast. I mean, but that's where I first heard him speak, and that's what he gives you these lenses, like what are we about? Like, what do we think we're about for our customer, right? And then the second lens is to really stress test that by like, what does our customer say that we're about for them, if that makes sense, right? And so now's the time to work yourself through some really cool exercises like that. Like, who are we? What do I think we mean? And are we meeting that brand promise, right? And does our customer agree with that? And there's a lot of cool ways you can sort of stress test your business model. Are you where you need to be? And for us, at least, I feel like we're right where we need to be. And it's been really nice to see not only that, but just sort of the camaraderie, even though we're using digital platforms, the camaraderie of our clientele, right? And how we are how much we are connected, and what a big community that we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, a guy had to eat a bat in the Wuhan wet market to make us realize it. But it's been really encouraging to understand what type of community that we drive. So I would say take care of yourself, and that, again, learning, stress test your business, and go back to your whys and get all those things in order, right? So that your head is on straight, so that you know why you're in this industry. And that will give you, again, a lot of motivation and a lot of conviction to dig into some of the hard things that you're going to need to do right now to be successful.
Yeah, good, very good. So you kind of talked about it a little bit, kind of got into our second one there, but the one we want to talk about now is actually this, you have a lot more time on your hands. This will give you an opportunity to look at your business overall and just kind of look at the health and wellness of it. So got anything to say about that? Yeah,
I think if anything, Matt, this has really exposed a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'll give you an example. Like, I'll just use us transparently as I can. So, it's expensive to build a franchise, right? And you could consider that growth, if you will. And growth is expensive. So if you are in a brick and mortar business and you want to take your clientele, say you're a personal training club, and you want to take your clientele from 200 to 300 people, that's going to be expensive. And what do I mean by that? It's going to mean marketing dollars. It's going to mean resources to sell those leads, right? It's going to be resources in the sense that you're going to need more supplies. You're going to need more manpower, right? So it always costs money to grow. And so when you look at a time like right now, some of us were caught at the bottom of our J curve for growth. And if you guys don't understand the J curve concept, it's sort of, there's a flat line across the top. The J starts on the line, it dips down to the bottom line, and then pops back up. And ideally that, the back end of that J is much higher, right? Because you invest here, that's the trough, and then you're up the upside, right? So if you look at the J curve, a lot of you guys, me included, things are going gangbuster, economy's great. We just keep reinvesting, maybe not having the margins in our business, right, that we need, because we're just like, oh, it's all gangbusters, man. Everybody's crushing it. I'm going to open 5 more clubs right now. And that's good, but it's expensive. And so you get a little bit overextended, right? And lo and behold, who could have predicted, again, guy eats a bat, next thing you know, you're going out of business. So I think there's a lot of ways right now to get your books in order and to understand what margin in your life means, professionally, yes, and also personally. So if we look at personally as an example, so we are, a lot of money into this franchise right now. So we're at the bottom of the J curve. Well, even before this kicked off, it was a situation where it's like, well, I'm probably not going to take, certainly, I'm getting my salary, which is modest, but then you take draw, right? Whatever the profit is, you're sticking that in your pocket. Well, if you're using a bunch of cash to build this business and it's your own and you're bootstrapping it, then it's good that you can do it. But at the same time, you could run the risk of completely running out of cash, right? If you're not smart. So you got to have margin in your business. And that also means you got to have margin personally, like we talked about. So in this example, I might forgo salary for a year. Well, can you do that, right? Can you not pay yourself, or can I not take distributions for a year because there's none there?
Right.
The only way that you can grow your business is to have margin in your business. And typically in a small business model for entrepreneurs, that also means you have to have a lot of personal margin in your life. And so if anything right now, special projects would be, this maybe even goes back to point number one, is like, get your ducks in a row. Do you have some money? Do you have that cash burn set aside where you can go 3 or 4 months, right? And pay your staff if you had no income? What is your burn rate over time? And obviously the government's coming out with the PPL program or PPP program and a lot of things that are going to help us with this, but it I think it puts a microscope on business finances and personal finances.
Absolutely.
And if you were living month to month on client payments and your margins were razor thin, you might not make it out of this. I mean, that's just a hard fact. So I would say number one special project would be get your back house, in order. I mean, get your finances in order. The next one would be, again, looking at your business model. So, and like, let's say, other verticals for revenue would be a good example. So here, I'm just going to say it openly. We don't do well at selling supplements as well as we should. I think most people listening, if you know anything about fitness, will all agree that everyone needs probably more protein than they're intaking. More and more research going into that, right? Mm-hmm. And so if let's just say it's a pound, gram per pound of lean body weight, or even simpler, gram per pound of body weight, right? Well, most people aren't getting that. Mm-hmm. So more than likely, people need a protein supplement. Right? Most people don't eat a lot of fish as much as they need. So you need your omega. So a fish oil is good. And then a multi, because it just fills in the gaps. That's all that it does. Right. And you want to get most of it from food, but I'd say in this day and age, it's really hard to get everything you need. So let's just say those are the three non-negotiable, nutrition supplements that people are going to need. Well, we know that, but we've traditionally not been great at, for whatever reason, relaying that message, whether it's a break in our belief system around we do fitness, not nutrition, whatever that is. And the facts are there's some high percentage, like 85% or something that we got from our partners at DotFit, of people that work out in your gym that are already taking those supplements. So why would you not provide them a better option? Not only better for you financially, but better for the clients, because you've vetted this company and it's not some teenager working at General Nutrition Center giving them bullshit advice on the product that he's going to get or she's going to get the biggest bonus on, right, at the end of the week. So yeah, just to let you know how that works. But, so I would say that would be one of ours, is like right now, Natalie, who's one of our great coaches and also a registered dietitian, is putting together during this downtime a better playbook for how to sell supplements, because we know clients need it. We know they're already consuming it, and we'd like for them to get a better option, and it would be good for us on the revenue side.
Gotcha.
So, if you think about that right now, if we were doing as good as we should be and doing right by our customers, we would have more customers getting auto shipped supplements to their door right now. Well, if it was 200 of our clients, as an example, at our gym, right, and they were at $100 each a month, which is about what a protein, a fish oil, and a multi is going to put you at, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's 20 grand, right? So that's $20,000 a month. If I'm at a 50% profit on that, right? So that's $10,000 a month that I would be making if we did a better job of selling supplements as a gym owner, right, an individual location, than we are right now. We're doing some, but we're not doing that, but we should. It would be better for the clients and be better for the business. So I think these are the special projects that you need to work on. Like, hey, what other verticals in there? Another one for us, as an example, is virtual training. Mm-hmm. So we've always had virtual training. Like, we have the best tool in the business to run virtual training, but we weren't using it for that because, again, things are going fine. Why?
Right. Didn't have to.
Didn't have to. And now we have to, right? But lo and behold, when you have to, it's an opportunity, as always, every challenge is, to build a better virtual playbook. And so in building that better virtual playbook, that's something that we could keep on the menu moving forward and give us another vertical for people who wanted to train remotely because of our brand recognition or whatever that is, right? Yeah. So when I say special projects, it's taking courses, again, kind of bleeds back into the personal,
yes,
but
it's things that you can maybe not able to do before because you're really busy running a business and you have the time now. And taking a negative that was what's going on right now and then finding a positive way out of it. Virtual training, working on nutrition, working on supplements. These are all huge.
Yep. And any other line items of revenue that you feel like you could add to your business that would bring a value add to your customer, now's the time to do that. Mm-hmm. So, get on a whiteboard and, mark up all your ideas that you have, stress test them, create pricing structures. I mean, now's a great time also to connect with other people in the industry. So now's a chance to jump on. If you're in a community of some sort or a mastermind group or whatever that is, now's your chance to get on the horn with those guys and kick around some ideas. Because we're, again, in the collective community of fitness serving, individuals, there's plenty of people to go around. Yeah. So now would be the time of all times to start sharing information with each other so that we can all get through this thing, right?
Yeah, sharing information. Another good thing would be just working with your team. Maybe you got some team members that are not at the level they need to be yet. What a great time. Sit down.
Exactly. And really, as a leader, you sort of have to assign your team, projects. So one thing that we did, you guys, is at our last meeting, we went through each person's name on the team, and they all talked about what they were working on sort of in their bucket, right? Like, here's what I'm working on right now. And then each week when we meet, we'll go over like, how are you doing in your bucket? So there's team accountability. Everyone's writing down what everyone else is working on. So there's an expectation that everyone's going to be doing some functions around the business. And all of them are sort of special project related, if you will. Like your example is like, we've been licensing fitness for 10 years now. So some of our videos are just really bad, old and grainy and stuff that I shot. Right. And so your new videos are much upgraded. So, Matt's going through and reshooting all videos. It's like, well, it's a great time to do it. Now's the time that we have a chance to do that. So I think that's the way you look at your business, is what needs to be improved? What could I add to it? What kind of value add could I bring to my customers? Am I going to keep this virtual? And just a million and one things, but now's the chance to do that.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Those kind of lead into our last one. The last one is, what are we going to do after this is over? What are we going to do when Corona stops? So obviously we've talked about a couple of different revenue streams, but what are some other things that you need to do to prepare yourself?
Yeah, I would say now's a great time to upgrade your facility. If you have a little cash cushion, right, which hopefully everyone does, and if you do, now's the chance. So, paint, clinically clean the place, upgrade your equipment. I know equipment vendors certainly are moving a lot of online based equipment packages, but most of our vendors still are delivering, equipment. So, if you need to upgrade, or, you need some new dumbbells because yours are looking shoddy, or maybe your kettlebells, need a sprucing up, or whatever that is, make your facility as nice as possible right now. And those are things too, you guys, that you think of the psychology of working on your business for the future. It makes you feel good. Like you're doing something. Again, these are the three things you can do. So this is something that you're doing that's going to make you feel better. And you're sort of projecting yourself into the future. Like, wow, when this thing breaks, more than likely some of our competitors aren't going to be here. It might have gone back to those razor thin margins that we talked about before. And so if that's the case, how can I be best aligned, right, to be ready for this? Also, different marketing hooks, right? So now's your chance to maybe dial in your marketing message and what that's going to look like. And again, I would even say at this point, if you retooled your facility, I think it would be a great idea to do a grand opening, almost like a grand opening. Why not? It's almost a celebratory. Coronavirus is over. I know that you and I haven't talked about this, but I plan on having like a huge client appreciation party. Well, once we can get out, we're going to all get out, right? We're going to have DJ up here and just have a good old time. It's like, why not, right?
Yeah, I can't wait.
I know, right? How crazy are people going to get when they can finally get out of the house and get together and have a few drinks?
They're going to get close to each other? I don't know. I don't know. Is the whole world going to be different?
But the dance floor is going to be weird if we don't. Everybody's just doing the Dougie in their corner by themselves with 6 feet around them, no arm movement. It's going to be really weird.
No arm movement. Yeah.
It's going to be super weird. But yeah, I would say right now, just do it, anything and everything as if you're grand opening a club.
A lot of people were planning on upgrading or making some changes to their gym. As you know, it is very disruptive when people are in your facility. So there ain't no better time than now.
Yep.
Get in there and rip some floors up or whatever.
Yep.
If you're able to, I'd do it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks that are listening to this, me not being one of them, that are pretty handy, that like to do their own work. And I'm always would say that's the worst use of your time, because there's so many other functions in the business that would bring you a better return for your time invested than, doing your own flooring. But maybe that formula right now is out the window. So you do have time now. And so what better way to spend it than maybe doing some of your own fix-it-up work if you like to do that, and, put some little extra features in your gym. And listen, don't put pictures on social media of your gym when it's all beat up. A lot of people do that. Like, hey, the framing went up today. Oh, this is exciting. But what we found from experts is the psychology shows that unfinished gym can even make it look a little dangerous or discombobulated or unorganized. So don't do that, right? But if you're already an existing gym and you're just making like really pretty upgrades, and it doesn't look like a shell of a facility that's being built out, yeah, advertise the heck out of it, And you're kind of telling people too that like, hey, we're a healthy business. We can't wait to see you again, put that on your public page now better than ever. It shows that like, I think everyone's ready for this to be over with, right? And so you're helping them project into the future. Hey, when this is over, this place looks cool. They're staying positive. Look at all the cool things they have going on. When this is over, I know I'm going to get back in shape. This is where I'm going to go. And I think speaking to that, Matt, through the lens of marketing, we really need to lean into preventative healthcare. I think is a good idea. I think when you look at the risk factors that have driven some of the hysteria around coronavirus, and a lot of them are founded. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, it's not warranted, but obesity, right? Hypertension, all of these things. Some can't be controlled, but many of them can.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're going to see a bit of an awareness from the general public to say like, okay, like this is ridiculous. Like, if there's one thing I can control, again, it's going to be my health and fitness. Like I can reduce my risk factors for whatever the heck is coming next, right? When somebody eats a goat in India and then it gets here, do they eat goats in India? Is that going to be, do we have to cut that out? I know we're not having a cow, but we might be having a goat there. So if I said that wrong, if you're in India or you're Indian, I apologize. Matt's like, this is so bad. But case in point, you're going to be ready, right?
Right.
And you're going to be ready for that. And the client's going to be ready to get out of the gym or get to the gym, and you're going to have a place and you're going to show them that you're ready. So honestly, man, it was hard to come up with a topic for today because I'm really tired of talking about Corona just personally. And I just wanted to do one. It was called, I think we thought the title would be like F Corona, that would be the title, and we would just tell jokes the whole time. But I think these are valuable.
This is all good stuff.
Yeah, valuable points and great ways to look at what you need to be doing. Like these are things you can control. Get on top of those. And just speaking from personal experience, I can tell you if you do it, it's going to put you in a much better mind frame. Yeah. And you're controlling the things you can. You're giving yourself freedom by having a scheduled, right? A good organized schedule and discipline, right? You're moving forward by investing in these special projects and, again, thinking of the future. And then ultimately you're really thinking of the future because you're prepping for what is this thing going to look like? When we reopen, I'm going to plan this as if it's a re-grand opening for my gym. And what would I do if no one knew who I was and we were grand opening that day? Would I up my marketing spend? Yes. Would I make my facility amazing? Yes. Would I do kick-ass party for when this thing was over? Yes. So that's the way that we're thinking about it. And that really, I know it helps me personally.
Hell yeah. Awesome stuff, man.
All right, buddy.
Thanks
We'll
so much.
see. Like next week, by the time this is over, we will both be bearded and we'll have mullets and it will just get weirder by the week. So stay tuned. Good talking to you guys. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
See ya.